Welcome to another video with Snapkeep MTG, where we talk about MTG Arena and Magic the Gathering as a whole. Right now, I have two formats that I absolutely love. The first is, of course, the time-limit format. I think the best competitive 1v1 format on Arena. But I think there is a close second, is a fan format, and it is Gladiator. Gladiator, very shortly, if you are not familiar, is a 1v1 format, is a 100-card singleton. There's a small ban list, but it's a very competitive format if you're familiar with Canadian Highlander. It's pretty similar to that, but on Arena. Super cool format. I'm going to link to the website down below, so if you're interested, you can join us. The thing about Gladiator is obviously not a format in the client, so the way that you find games is through the Gladiator Discord channel. There are always people looking for games in the Discord, as well as tournaments happening, which I'll be doing very shortly here, recording the gameplay and posting it to the channel. So, with all that being said, let's take a look at the deck that I'm going to be running for today's tournaments. I'm very new to the format, so I still have a lot to learn about card choices and all of that, but this is my brew for the formats, one of them. And it is a 4-color Blink deck. So Redless Blink, this is one of my favorite archetypes in Magic the Gathering. It's Blink. I have always had a Blink deck in Commander, etc. Just a super, super fun archetype if you are a greedy player like me that just wants to get all the value. So let's talk about the deck. Let's talk about what it's trying to do, how we're trying to win the game, and then get into this tournament and get some games. So definitely jump over. I'll be posting this today, and then tomorrow I'll be posting all of the gameplay for the tournament. So, 4-color Blink. Blink, if you're not familiar, is using cards like Ephemerate. So Ephemerate says, exile target creature you control, then return to a battlefield under its owner's control, and it has rebound. So that is basically the name of the game. We're trying to abuse and reuse enter the battlefield triggers, like Siege Rhino. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. So that's the name of the game. That's what we're trying to do. How we're going to get there, we sit somewhere between a mid-range and a control deck. So we're going to be dropping threats, we're going to be getting value, but we're also trying to control the board through that. Some notable things here, we're running a decent sized ramp package because these cards that we are trying to get massive value from are a little more expensive. I think this deck could go lower to the ground if we wanted it to, but honestly, I like dropping the big haymakers. It's really fun, and being able to drop these big threats, they're big enough that dropping them and then reusing their ETB abilities is going to end the game if we can get to that point. So we're trying to ramp into those threats. We have a decent removal package. We've got Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares. Because we're playing 4-color, we basically get to play the best of the best. So we've got Assassin's Trophy as an excellent removal spell. We've got Orcish Bowmasters, insane card all around. And then we've got stuff tacked on to our creatures. So we've got stuff like Ravenous Chupacabra, enters the battlefield, destroy a creature. Hostage Taker is insane. It exiles our opponent's artifacts or creatures, and then we actually get to cast it. So not only are we destroying their thing, we also get to then play it. And then stuff like Tolsmir that is going to create dudes that can fight things. We've got stuff like Shieldred that will make opponents sacrifice creatures. So we have lots of ways to deal with our opponent's threats there. And there's way more than I mentioned, stuff like Reflector Mage that we're going to bounce things to our opponent's hands. We've got Knight of Autumn to destroy artifacts and enchantments. So that's kind of the bread and butter, how we're going to control the board while we're trying to get to our late game threats. Some other ways we're going to try to get to our late game threats. We've got a few tutors in the deck, creature tutors, such as Neoform. Sacrifice a creature. We search our library for a creature with 1 mana value higher, put it onto the battlefield. Between that, we've also got Eldritch Evolution here that does basically the same thing, except 2 more mana, and then we can get anything with that cost or less. We're going to be able to chain our 2-drops into 4-drops, with the Eldritch Evolution. Notably, our 5-drops will chain into our Atraxa, our Agent of Treachery. 3-drops chain into these 5-drops like Elishnorn. So those are really important lines for the deck. Then I've got a couple just classic tutors. Well, not classic, but they're pretty dang good. Assemble a Team, Arena Specific, search our top third of our library for a card, and then Pillage the Bog. Basically can do the same thing. I mean, you're regularly looking at least 8 cards, kind of green-black dig through time. It's really, really good. So we've got all of that we're rocking. Let's talk about our late game threats. What are we trying to get into here? So how we're going to win the game. Late game, we can either Neoform or just hard cast cards like Tolivar's Huntmaster to create a ton of dudes that our opponents just won't be able to push through. Agent of Treachery, steal all of our opponent's stuff. Traxa, of course, multi-format all-star, going to draw us a million cards. And then, honestly, just our late-game cards like the Yarok, like Elishnorn, that are going to double up our triggers will just give us enough oomph to really push through. Notably, there are some really cool packages in this deck. Recommend on Discord is this Micromancer package. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for an instant or sorcery card, mana value 1, reveal it, put it into your hand. We're playing 5. Got a few blink spells, and then our swords and Path to Exile. Notably, Micromancer with the Ephemerate is really gross, being able to rebuy that, get more stuff. We also have in the deck, with either, we do have an Infinite Turns loop between Soul Herder and Teleportation Circle. Those paired with either Saiba Siphoner, and actually, take it back, just the Siphoner will do this combo. We're playing Time Warp where we can rebuy the extra turns infinitely. And then also the Timeless Witness in the deck to do the same thing. So those are lines that are available to us as a infinite way to end the game. Typically that's not how we're going to do it, but it's a cool package to have. But it is just a really fun deck if you like these kind of greedy strategies like I do. A lot of fun to pilot. So I don't know how good it's going to be. This is my first tournament in the Gladiator format, so I'm going to take it, run it against what the opponent's got, and see how we do. Thanks for checking it out, guys. Come back tomorrow for the next videos. I'm going to post 3, 1 for each round, with our gameplay going through the tournament. All right, guys, thank you, and we will see you soon for the gameplay.